seem that in our discussion previously, we have angered some ancient eldritch god of technology.
As you'll discover, because unfortunately the video didn't quite come out on our discussion about religion.
Yeah, we're not sure how that worked out, but, apparently in file transfers from one point to another, and, our editor is really pissed off about it.
Yeah.
He has been just he's been shitting himself with anger over this issue. But anyway, we salvaged the video, the audio footage from the microphone. So we're basically just going to put that on a black background, maybe some pictures. I don't know if he feels up to it or not, but, it might just be a picture of us looking stupid.
Yeah. Not too hard to find.
Yeah. But yeah, it'll be almost an hour of us rattling on about religion if you care to listen or whatever.
Yeah, plus you can do other stuff while you're listening and not worry about missing any jokes.
Yeah, it's like Blade Clan on tape.
Exactly. Which is the next endeavor.
Yeah, well, eventually.
Yeah. Alright, so enjoy the show.
See ya.
Alright, let me get this little guy a bottle here.
Yeah. Here you go. Give him that one.
Fago Moon Mist. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Blade Clan Not Health and Fitness. I'm Brian. This is Dave.
There's a hair in my cup.
And there's a hair in his cup.
There was. I got it out. This is a big-ass cup of strawberry crush drink mix.
You got like two little globules of Kool-Aid or whatever on. You've got fangs.
I've got fruit punch mouth.
That's right.
Okay.
All right.
So that had nothing to do with what we're talking. Well, kind of does. Kind of.
Because you're drinking the Kool-Aid.
That's right, I am. Because today we're going to talk about I don't know. I mean, we're talking about religion.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to say, it's controversial. But then again, no one watches. So how controversial is it if you scream into an empty room?
Yeah. Watch how controversial it'll be when I put religion in the tagline for a search on YouTube.
Call this The Truth About God. This will be like our steroid video all over again. 1,000 views in a day. Everyone's like, this is bullshit. You guys are stupid.
Maybe I'll name this Jesus is my co-pilot, and then a picture of a plane with fire coming up out of it.
While Rocky Mountain High is playing in the background. That was for you, Mom.
Yeah, so anyway, religion. So, just a disclaimer here. I'm an atheist.
And I am not a theology scholar.
Yeah. Also, he worships, a comical version of Jesus who happens to be African American.
Hey! Comical. Black Jesus is serious business. Did you even watch the videos I put on the flash drive?
I haven't watched those yet.
God damn it. You had one job, Internet.
I'll get around to it.
Anyway, Black Jesus. I'll tell you about my thoughts on Black Jesus later, but, religion. Why?
Yeah, so let's start with that. Let's start with why. So, the thing that makes the most sense in regards to religion, and also, kind of going back towards ancient Mesopotamia and stuff like that, religion was actually used as a form of government, more or less. It was actually used to set guidelines for people, and also keep them in line. If you think about it, sure, you go out, you kill somebody, you get in trouble with your government. Okay, fuck it. Maybe you're executed. Okay, that's the end, of whatever. Maybe you're...
The worst thing that can happen to you in any given frame of events is death.
Exactly, and then you're dead, and then it's over.
Yeah.
But with religion, you die, you go to hell.
Maybe, depending on the religion.
Yeah, depending on the religion.
And this show's been full of religious imagery from the beginning. Popular mythological figures.
That's right. People forget about things like, any religions besides...
That's not Christianity.
Yeah, again, we live in America.
And we are all living in America. Coca-Colas, Wonder Bras.
And also we listen to Rammstein songs.
Occasionally.
That's right. Yeah, but the basic start of religion started way before Christianity, way before Catholicism.
But it's
That is the true start of religion. But, you know, most of my views on religion come from comedians. I mean, you know, it sounds kind of crazy, but, you know, all right, so you got George Carlin, who talks about the Ten Commandments and how they're all overblown and overly complicated and mostly unnecessary. You could get by with 2. And that's, you know, that's fair. Basically, you know, be honest and faithful to the provider of your nookie, and don't kill anyone unless they worship a different invisible man than you. That's easy to follow. Jim Jeffries goes on a big tirade about how, you know, he found out that the Bible was bullshit because they never mentioned kangaroos. Which kind of makes sense if you think about it. I mean, when the Bible was written, which is what basically most of the people who are watching this base their beliefs on, you have this one little pocket out in the Middle East where somehow a drunk with a boat managed to get 2 of every species of animal that have ever been on Earth, including the kangaroos, who would have had to have started walking pretty early to get to that boat on time.
And some of the animals that would have had to have swam there from land.
It's just a good thing that they didn't let the dinosaurs on. But there's actually people that never mind. Yeah. But yeah, okay, so and that's a valid argument. I mean, like, it's all based on old information, and it just shows that while there are lessons to be taken from the stories, maybe literally is not the way to go. The Bible could have been one piece of paper, according to Jim Jeffries, with one sentence written on it. Try not to be a cunt. Yeah, I said it.
By the way, do you know, I actually was just reading about this the other day. I hadn't really read into it. I've read the Bible, but it was like so long ago when I did. But do you know, in order for Moses to appease God so that God would stop pretty much fucking shit up, he actually had to kill one of the animals on the ark, basically making an entire species of animal extinct to please God, to stop the rain and to make him stop killing everything.
It's kind of a dick move.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. You know, human sacrifices are actually pretty common if you look at the original Bible.
Yeah. A lot of things were more interesting before it got all edited and chopped. But no, that's not even what I'm getting at. I mean, like, religion in general. Patton Oswalt, he talks about the sky cake. And how, you know, back in the old days, there was one big, giant maniac with a club that was killing and fucking anything he wanted to, just because he was the biggest and the strongest. So someone smaller than him said, you know, if I can convince this guy that if he stops doing those things here, he can do them in the afterlife and have a good time doing it there as long as he wants, maybe he won't kill me. So the entire idea became, well, you know, if you don't kill or rape, you get to have cake in the sky. And then there's the whole thing about the sky cookies and the sky baklava from different places, and how people got into fights because if they're going to have sky cake, then this person can't have sky cookies because sky cake doesn't taste as good if everyone else gets desserts too. And that's a lot of what I base models for religion on. It's just, you know, the words of comedians, because even though they're doing this to be funny, there's actually a lot of truth behind it.
Yeah, that's, strangely enough, yeah, that is very insightful. It's just put in a way that, you know, common man can understand.
And is hilarious.
Yes, exactly.
Because somebody comes by on a boat and is like, hey, have you heard about the sky baklava? And the sky cake guy with the club is like, it's sky cake, motherfucker! And he kills the baklava guy.
Yeah. You know, something that's something they kind of touch upon, too, as far as, like, relating to the common man through, you know, comedy or whatever, right? Something I wanted to throw out there that's actually kind of sad. A lot of people that follow major religions have never actually read the Bible. You know, they've never read the Old Testament, they've never read the New Testament. They're only familiar with certain characters because they go to church on Sunday and their priest tells them what's in the Bible. Or they tell them, you know, about these stories, you know, they're reading passages out of it. If you were to ask them about, you know, the seven-headed dragon, for instance, you know, that pops up in the Bible,
yeah,
or
that was a good story.
Yeah. Or, you know, the beast that comes out of the ocean with, like, a lion head and, like, crocodile body and stuff like that, or, you know, how the angels actually really looked, for instance.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you see all the paintings, and it's like big, big, beautiful blonde men in armor with giant wings, with swords, and it's like, okay, that's an angel. And I was like, no, not really. I think my favorite one from the Bible is the Wheels Within Wheels guys. It's like two big rings covered in eyeballs that are kind of orbiting around each other, like the engine from Event Horizon.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Actually, the one that I like is the angel that has, I think it has...
the Six Wings one?
Yeah, the one that covers its body, because if you were to see it, you would explode.
Which actually covered in Dogma. You get exposed to that divine presence and head comes right off.
Yeah, exactly. But, a lot of people don't know about that. I actually accidentally stumbled on Netflix on some sort of documentary about people being oppressed by religion as far as, they're, gay people.
Death to Smoochie?
No. But anyway, they were interviewing people that were religious, that were, opposed to homosexuality because they said, the Bible says it's wrong. Well, they said, where does it say it's wrong in the Bible? Like, can you cite that for me to, this person that they're interviewing? And he said, well, I can't cite it exactly, but I know they have to have said it at least 2 or 3 times in the Bible. It's just that important. Yeah. The only thing that was even relatively close to that, and it could actually even be interpreted differently, as many things in the Bible, is saying that man should not lay with man under some sort of context in that case.
That was somewhere in Corinthians, maybe? That's where I want to say it was. I don't remember directly. But the funniest thing I've ever seen relating to that was a guy who had a tattoo of that verse of the Bible with the proper reference and everything on his arm. Big as life, fucking tattooed. Really nicely done, too. Great ink work. But the thing that they mentioned in the caption was about 3 verses later, there's a thing there saying, don't get tattoos.
Exactly.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. What I also find funny is the infighting with religions that are similar. I mean, a lot of religions have a similar, they may have the Bible or may have different versions of the Bible. And then everybody argues. It's kind of going back to your whole, sky cake versus sky cookies thing. It's like, yeah, the Jewish people, they basically believe the original Bible.
Sky latkes. It's not really a dessert, but damn, latkes are good. They're basically little hash browns.
Yeah, sky matzahs.
I want to switch teams for that. Matzo ball soup. Shit.
Yeah. Anyway, if you look at the similarities, at least starting out, between Judaism and, Catholicism, of course...
Why are you even talking about that?
About which one?
Catholicism. They're just doing it for attention.
Now, who's doing it for attention? Scientologists. I mean, the richer you are, the richer you are, the higher up in plane you are.
I don't even want to try to understand it, because that just makes my head hurt.
Yeah. But anyway, Scientology is actually just back from, the 1950s and was created by a science fiction writer who actually said in an interview, the real money is in making a religion. I do believe he died in prison after trying to steal all of the money from Scientology and running. But his son actually is in charge of Scientology now.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. Yes, it stays in the family. But yeah, there's something on modern religion. You know why new modern religions really don't spring up?
Because people aren't what they used to be.
Exactly. People are more intelligent.
Well, let's not go that far.
Well, I still think they're more intelligent than they used to be.
They're stuck in their particular version of intelligence.
Yeah.
I had this friend of mine who insisted she was a truth seeker. She's a truther. She wants to know the truth about everything. Except she's really religious. Kind of hard to accept the truth about things when you're leaning on children's stories.
Yes, because another thing about religion is that a large part of a lot of religions discourage you from educating yourself.
Yeah.
After all, eating from the tree of knowledge was a big sin.
Which was an apple tree.
Yes. The more you understand...
It's a metaphor for iPhones.
That's right. Don't eat an iPhone, or you'll be banished.
To the emergency room.
Actually, you could probably eat one of the little, the little shuffle things they used to have.
Oh, yeah.
You could probably swallow one of those, and you'd be okay. Yeah. Anyway, though, yeah, religion, a lot of it is predicated on the fact that you don't know any better. One of the things I was getting at is one of the reasons you don't see quite so many new religions springing up or what have you these days is because people know better. If some guy's running through the streets screaming he just talked to God and, God gave him the next verse of the Bible or whatever, people will be like, man, he's either on drugs or he's a schizophrenic.
Yeah.
But you know what? People didn't know so much about then. There actually were crude, drugs that were done back then, but they're nothing at all like we have now. And people didn't know what schizophrenia was. As a matter of fact, they thought you were either possessed by a demon or that you really were talking to God.
Kind of explains the whole burning bush thing.
Yeah. And it talked to him.
Oh, yeah. That must have been some good bush.
It was like, dude, I need some chips.
Now, first commandment, thou shalt bring the bush chips. Bring me chips. But yeah, that's the thing, like, Joan of Arc, cited as a hero back in the day because she talked to God and, helped the French fight off some people or something. But ultimately, she was burned at the stake because they didn't need her anymore, and all of a sudden her talking to God was just the ramblings of a crazy woman, and she needed to be burned at the stake.
Exactly. Plus the government feared that she could potentially overthrow them. As people loved her so much.
Hard.
Yeah.
French. Inventors of mayonnaise.
And for giving up.
And parlay.
Yeah. So, yeah, but, you go back to the original religions, I kind of think it's funny, though, that we went from a religious structure where you're worshiping many gods that signify different things to
Odin.
Slimming it down. Yeah.
What?
Because, all of the original gods, like, if you look back to, like I said, like, ancient Mesopotamia, if you look at those gods, they have those versions of gods in Egyptian mythology, which came about 1,000 years later. Pretty much the same gods, just different names, they're designed a little bit differently.
The Greeks and the Romans, same thing.
Yep.
Ares, Mars, Romans, it's like, oh, well, we're going to name ours after the planets. Like, okay.
Well, actually, the planets were named after.
Shut up. The gods came first, so they named the planets after the gods.
Yes.
I think you're trying to sidetrack this conversation.
We should just name the show Sidetracked.
Or, plot point left behind.
Which, has anyone actually seen... This is your comment you can leave below. Has anyone actually seen that new Nicolas Cage movie, Left Behind? Which was the remake of the one with Kirk Cameron? Yeah, no, totally happened.
No, I refuse to see it. I refuse to be involved in a conversation with it because Nicolas Cage is the closest thing I can find to the devil.
It's in theaters now.
I just said it, Nick.
I'm confused.
Come at me, bro. Come at me.
Left Behind.
Ghost Rider. I will never forgive you for that franchise.
They might make a third one.
And what you did to that Dresden Files TV show, yeah, people don't know about it, but I know about it. You were the executive producer. You could have fixed things, but instead, you took all the best ideas and made that fucking Sorcerer's Apprentice movie. Fucking magic hockey stick, really? Really, Nick? Really?
Because, of course, we know you're going to be watching this, Nicolas Cage.
And you know what? There's every chance he could possibly stumble upon this, but the fact that I'm screaming at him, and someone's going to be like, hey, Nick, look at this fat guy saying on the internet.
And especially because I'm going to put Nicolas Cage searchable for our video on YouTube. If he watches himself. Yeah. And leave a comment if you do. I don't care what you say, really.
As long as it's not, I'm confused.
Yeah. Although I like the Ghost Rider movie just because of how fucking ridiculous and batshit insane you were in those movies. Not for their own credit. I did.
Spider-Man 3. Yeah. Yeah, feel my pain. Emo. Give you a nice emo boy haircut and a suit and let you disco dance down the street. All the while, I'll be scratching at the door.
But see, if it started out with the first one was good, and the second Ghost Rider was just batshit crazy, that'd be different. They just shit on the franchise from the beginning, so it just, shit just kept rolling downhill. Anyway, wait, what were we talking about?
Sky Cake.
Yeah, religion. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, the further back you go, the more similarities you find between all of the religions. They all have some sort of common denominator.
Yeah, going back to what we were talking about in the last video with the remakes, Jesus was a remake.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Took a story from before their time that nobody thought they were going to look up or find out about. Make a few tweaks, change a few names. Jesus, Horus, whatever.
Exactly. He dies, goes down, opens the gates to the underworld, which, Jesus opened the gates to heaven so that souls can be shuttled through. The underworld, by the way, wasn't just hell. The underworld was where people went when they died.
Yeah, see, because that's the one thing this religion does that not many other ones do. That's like, you go back to the ancient Greeks. When you died, you went to either Tartarus or the Elysian Fields, but they were still in the same place. They were in the underworld where Hades was. Hades wasn't... I mean, it wasn't like that fucking Hercules Disney movie where Hades is the devil. It's kind of more like the Hercules TV show, disappointed. Yeah. In Kevin Sorbo, but that's another conversation. Hades in that, they went to the underworld and it was all dark caves and spookiness until you turned a corner, walked through an entryway, and holy shit, there's a big field full of grass and kids are playing and families are all happy. And Hades is like, oh yeah, this is the Elysian Fields. Your family's over there. Don't go in that cave. Bad. But yeah, pretty bad. All in the same place.
Also, if you know your Catholicism or Christianity, heaven and hell are not below and above. They're actually right and left. Which is actually the reason why left is considered evil and right is considered good. The right hand of God and everything like that.
Which is why I use my left hand.
Yes. Because left is...
when I do drinking.
Yeah. So I'm sure you all know that because, if you're going to leave comments down below, I'm sure you're fully versed in...
theology scholars all.
Yes, exactly.
PhDs in religion.
Yes.
Which, wrap your head around that. It's like having a PhD in fairy tales.
That would be awesome.
What, a PhD in fairy tales?
Yeah, you wouldn't make much money in it, but,
Well, unless you were an executive producer on Once Upon a Time.
Or just Disney.
Then they could just ignore you.
Yeah. If you're like a writer on Disney, you're set, because, Disney just steals stuff from...
I want to talk about Once Upon a Time, but not yet, because you haven't watched the new season. It's the whole Neverland thing. Some plot points were like, oh my god, I saw that coming from a mile away, and then some points were like, holy shit, that would never have occurred to me. And then at the very end... Oh. Do you want to murder a snowman?
With a flamethrower.
It doesn't have to be a snowman. It could be a writer or a producer.
Yeah. So anyway, back on religion.
Disney movies, religion. I mentioned Hercules. Whatever. I don't know. I think my favorite thing is back in the day, my grandma used to swear that Dungeons and Dragons was evil. And that I was going to go to hell because it's all about Satan.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Also Harry Potter more recently. The Harry Potter books.
But the Pope signed off on Harry Potter. Not the new progressive Pope. Darth Pope signed off on it. Yeah. So,
No, seriously, if you look at what the old Pope looked like...
Darth City... Stop that! Get that shit out of here. Darth Pope. But yeah, okay, so Harry Potter, there are some groups who think Harry Potter, and even Pokemon, are just evil, satanic, horrible things. But I think a lot of that goes back to a simpler view on religion. I mean, I remember I used to go to Bible camp every summer, and one of the counselors there said that if you wear a T-shirt with a picture on it that's not a picture that says, "Yay, God," you are evil because you're detracting from the attention that you put on God. So, like, if you were maybe to say wear a shirt with a strange-looking cartoon Deadpool riding a unicorn, you're drawing attention away from God by wearing such a garish outfit. Sir, I can't see your shirt past your pecs.
Yes, it's a Punisher skull.
Man boobs. Muscle! Music! Just like Terry Crews. But yeah, I mean, it's like everyone seems to think that just because something has evil subject matter, it's going to turn you into a devil worshiper.
Yeah, or anything that doesn't have God in it is evil.
I mean, by that particular plot point, Sesame Street is evil.
Yeah, that's true. There's strange little, soulless creatures that, teach your children things, but
at the same time,
like, there's no mention of God.
Yeah. So it's obviously evil.
Exactly. Here's something I don't understand. All right, aware me on this. I was watching. I rarely ever actually just watch television, but since Halloween had passed not too long ago, they actually had on this one channel that we get locally Halloween marathon that went on for like 2 days. So basically, for 2 days, my television was just on this channel, right, 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, one thing I noticed because I'd forgotten about censorship, since I watch mostly Netflix and DVDs and stuff, is if somebody says "God damn it" on television, they beep out God. They don't beep out "damn it."
Well, that goes back to that episode of Penn and Teller's bullshit about bad words and how someone would say, "Well, instead of saying God damn it, I say holy smokes." It's like, well, you're still projecting an emotion with those words. Whether you say God damn it, holy smoke, what the fuck, anything like that, you're still projecting an emotion.
Yeah. But on that regard, one thing I think is funny is that if you replace God damn it with holy smokes, you still have a religious connotation in that end.
Mm-hmm.
You just replace the word God with holy.
But still, I mean, it's like, you could say anything. All those people that are like, gosh darn it. Like, do you really think you're more clever than your God?
Exactly. Are you tricking the invisible man in the sky?
Do you really think he's up there with a pen and paper going, he's going to say it. Oh, he didn't say it. Okay.
Well, no, because see, you know what Santa Claus is doing the rest of the year when it's not Christmas?
Being Odin?
Well, kinda.
Should really read those books, I'm just saying.
But yeah, you really think God is omnipresent? I don't think so. I think Santa Claus is like his secretary.
That's a fair point.
I mean, think about it. Guy's got to live.
It's like that Rise of the Guardians movie. The man on the moon is like God just handing out holiday-themed secretarial duties to this group of make-believe creatures. It's as good a theory as any.
Yeah. Or the flying spaghetti monster.
It's true. Which is, an actual religion.
Yeah, it is. Matter of fact, you can get ordained, at least in the United States. I don't know if you're watching this somewhere else, because I don't know about anymore, but we used to have fans that lived, UK, Germany.
They may still be subscribers. They may just be not paying attention to us anymore.
Yeah. Well, anyway, if you're one of those people that have subscribed and are watching us for some reason, then you can maybe tell us in the comments section in your country if you can legally become ordained as a minister just basically by signing paperwork. Because here in the U.S., you can just make up your own religion.
Paperwork anymore.
Oh, really?
You can go to a website.
Huh.
Ordain me now. Click, click. Reverend.
You can be whatever religion you want.
Be a reverend of the Jedi Temple.
Yeah. Be a Jehovah's Witness. They call the fans of Jason Genova. That'll be another topic.
You know what? Go chat about Forrest Gump all you want.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
And sometimes you win because nobody else shows up.
That'll be another topic, though. That one will probably get us a lot of negative attention.
Yeah. Also, because during that entire video, I'm going to be smashing myself in the hand with a hammer just to offset.
Let me give us some positive attention, then.
I could just smash myself in the hand with a hammer. That'd be fun.
Yeah, so anyway, anything really to add on the religion topic here?
Well, that's the funny thing about religion. I don't think it's being used the way it was intended originally. And as going back to Dogma, the Kevin Smith movie, it's good to have an idea. You can change an idea. But if you have a belief, people will die for it and kill for it and do all kinds of fucked up, horrible shit because they believe. They'll go picket funerals with signs that don't make any sense because they just want attention, but it's because God says so, because they have a belief. It's better to have an idea or just a general thought of how you want to live your life. Like, you're an atheist, and by most people's assumptions, you're an atheist, so you don't have God telling you what to do. You should be out murdering and raping and stealing and, burning down orphanages.
Yeah, exactly.
Again.
But
But, you don't. So, you confuse them because without God's guidance, you should be a horrible monster of a human being.
Exactly. I shouldn't have a moral compass. Matter of fact, there was this woman I used to work with. She was like a super hardcore Christian woman. And, she used to... And I keep religion out of, everything as far as, work goes. It's a smart thing to do. Yeah. Anyway, she always used to say, oh, you're so nice and this and that. And, one day she was finding, you're such a good Christian. God flows through you in everything you do, and it's so obvious. And then that's when I had to tell her, I was like, well, I don't believe in God. I'm an atheist. And from that point on, until she was eventually fired for doing unethical practices at work, yeah, from that point on, she would not talk to me anymore. It's funny, because before that, I shat miracles. But,
literally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Loaves and fishes. Weirdest adventure in the bathroom ever.
Yeah. Clogged up the toilet, Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, though, point being, some people, it's so ingrained in their mind that they need this God, whatever God it is that they have, that they can't imagine how somebody would function without it. They ingrain themselves in these communities where everybody has the same beliefs, follow along. And they put themselves in this little bubble that prevents them from looking outside of it.
Yeah.
And if something from outside gets in, they have no idea how to deal with it.
So yeah, it's just easier to cut you off.
Yeah.
Than continue talking and have to actually start questioning things. Because that leads to the ultimate downfall of any religion, which is questions.
Yes, exactly.
Information. That is why the tree of knowledge was the thing that people weren't supposed to eat. Because once you have knowledge, then you have responsibility. And people don't seem to want responsibility.
Exactly. My final thought on the topic with all this is that I believe that the most basic root of the original religion that isn't written down, that nobody knows of, was just fear. It was fear of the unknown. There's this big ball of fire in the sky, and then when that goes down... Is it
gonna fall on us?
Yeah. It's like, no, maybe it created us, because, there's nothing else like that on the planet, and this other thing comes floating up in the sky. How do these things float? They don't have wings. These things must be gods. And that's where, helping with their fear, we're afraid to die. We don't want to die. Well, there's something after death. That's a lot better, so you should look forward to dying,
But not too much, because apparently if you do it yourself, that's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't rush it.
Exactly. These things you don't understand, you don't have to understand them, because you know what? Your gods work in mysterious ways. That's why education is bad, because the more you know, oh, I know how the rain falls. It's not God doing it. It's, precipitation.
Yeah, that thing up there you've been calling Apollo's chariot is actually the sun. It's not moving, we are.
Yes.
And then people are like, I burn him at the stake.
Yeah, exactly.
Burning at the stake hurts.
Yeah, but I think that's where the root of religion came from. I think it was the most innocent, childish thing in the universe. No one knew how something was created. They made something up to make themselves feel better. Others liked it, and it just kept going.
Mm-hmm. And, a couple of decades, maybe 100 years later, people are like, yes, but what is that thing? Oh, that is the great God who is walking across the sky. It became something to make people feel better, and then they took it and ran with it, and then it just got way out of hand.
Exactly. Then they started putting rules behind it. All of a sudden the gods wanted something from them rather than them just being there affecting nature.
But there is actually one thing we haven't talked about yet.
What's that?
Aliens. Just doing the aliens thing. But yeah, it's just because, okay, you look at the Thor movie more recently. The Asgardians are the gods of the Norse. And why are they the gods of the Norse? Because at some point in the past, they came down to Earth to save us from the frost giants. And all the Vikings were like, holy shit, you guys are gods. And they worship them. And okay, that's cool. But what if it's right? You've got these powerful beings that come down from the sky with advanced technology, which, as we all know, to any not-so-developed people, any sufficient amount of technology could be considered magic. The camera we're using right now, if we took this back to the 1500s, would be considered magical. We'd probably be burned at the stake as witches because we're capturing people's souls in our little black box.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm not 100% sure how the camera works, so it could have some magic in it. God infused it with magic.
Yeah, okay. But, so yeah, and then Thor comes back to Earth, in the modern times, and they're like, oh my god, you're a god. And he's like, not really. We're just more advanced. No big deal. I mean, look at Stargate.
Yeah.
They took that show and they ran with it, because in the beginning, the movie, it's like, oh, well, where did the pyramids come from? No human technology could have built them at that time that they knew of. They figured it out, I guess, at some point recently.
Yeah.
But at that point, it was like, oh, aliens built it. But where did they go? They went out into space because they're aliens. So we started calling them gods because they were people that walked around with these metallic animal heads, and that's not human. They must be gods because they have these magic sticks that fire weapon blasts and burn things. That's only something gods can do. We could never do that. We've got pointy sticks.
That's right. If we did end up on some other planet that was inhabited, just walk around for a little while and maybe help them build up a community or whatever, and then take back off to come back to Earth and never come back,
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee that if somebody came back like 4 million years later and looked back through the history, there probably would be wars built upon, the human...
Yeah, these strange beings with only one head that came down with these magic boxes and, the weapons that shot magic and fire and noise.
Yes, and then made all of these wacky rules that the astronauts didn't do at the time, but decided that suited their government. So
Taco Tuesdays.
Exactly, that one
Religion.
they would have made.
First commandment: every Tuesday shall be a Taco Tuesday.
Damn.
Amen.
I could use some tacos, but it's Thursday.
Is it though? I mean, with the magic of the internet, this could be any day.
It's true.
And what the audience doesn't know won't hurt them.
Fucking tacos.
See? Religion, right there. We declare something, but because you guys don't know any better, we could go against our own decrees and just say, well, no, of course not. We did that on Tuesday.
Yes. By the way, upside down crosses are actually from a patron saint. It's not a sign of Satan. And
Yes, but you have to appeal to the lowest common denominator. So if cross is good, upside down cross must be bad because it's backwards. And everything that is backwards is the opposite.
And also the pentagram or pentacle was actually a sign for the Wiccan religion, which eventually they adapted to the Wiccan religion, and has absolutely nothing at all to do with Satan.
So the Wiccans adapted it to the Wiccan religion?
The Wiccan religion adapted it from a pagan religion.
I was going to say,
Yeah, pardon me.
circular logic. Like,
That's secular logic. But don't chink.
Must be something I can throw.
All right, so have we beaten this one to the ground yet?
Well, yeah. The only thing I would say as my personal final thought is that religion itself is not bad. Some people need someone else to tell them what to do. I'm okay with that. There's plenty of people in the world who need that, and for them, knock yourself out. But remember, religion is like a penis. It's okay if you have one, and it's okay to be really happy that you have one. But if you start whipping it out in public and shoving it down people's throats, don't be surprised if no one likes you.
Or you get arrested.
That too.
But not in this country. For religion, anyway.
I was going to say, I've been spending my evenings the wrong way. But yeah, and you know, there are good and bad parts of every religion because there are people that take the message and they work with it. Like that new pope. Good progressive guy. You know, I'd hang out with him.
Yeah.
Seems like a nice guy. But then there's other people who picket funerals because they want attention and because they think God is angry at people. And those are the bad ones. I mean, look at Muslims. I've known people, good, nice people, who are Muslims. But, you know, the pervading attitude is Muslim equals boom. So, you know, you can't just go around saying, oh yeah, I'm a Muslim, because everyone would be like, whoa. Yeah. Don't get angry and blow me up now.
Which always also falls under just the general mentality of humans that we have to be grouped together. We're like a group herd. So there has to be something that we're always opposing. I mean, even like your local job, if you have different shifts, let's just say, wherever you work, one shift will always blame the other shift. Oh, those guys are lazy, or, you know, like these guys never do their job, we have to do it.
Yeah, but that's actually true.
Well, an example.
But it's true.
Yeah, but let's just say two of them have opposing jobs.
I show up at work. My workstation's a mess. I didn't leave it that way when I left at the end of my shift. There's only one other shift in front of me. So, where did the mess come from? Fairies, apparently, because first shift seems to think we leave messes. We seem to think they leave messes. Apparently, sometime in between, there are leprechauns or some type of fairy folk that come out of the woodwork and knock things around and make a mess while we're, you know, getting ready to go back to work.
But there goes my point, because as you were saying, they also blame them for leaving messes.
But that's a total bullshit lie.
Same thing, though, with the whole Muslim religion right now. That's the hot button thing. We live in America, which is supposed to be a land of freedom. Unfortunately, the majority of the religions here are
Buddhist.
And I wish.
Well, I mean, they're a silent majority because Buddhists don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But, you know.
As far as, like, on Earth, though, the Buddhist religion is the most widely practiced religion on the planet.
Buddha.
Yeah. That's right. It's not a Catholic-based religion.
Yeah, it's not the Judeo-Christian deal. Some fat dude just cooling out, and everyone's like, you know what? He's got the right idea.
And you know what? Buddha was an actual person.
Like Wayne Gretzky.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, deification. I love deification. Because give me 100 years. Put me in a time capsule. Put me in a cryogenic sleep for 100, 200 years. I'll come back and I will preach the gospel of Wayne Gretzky and he will be bigger than Jesus.
That's right. Like the Beatles.
Because all it really takes is a good story and enough distance of time so that people have a hard time looking back at your facts, and then you can say whatever the hell you want, and all of a sudden, boom, religion.
Yeah, it's like millions of years ago when Lord Xenu was overthrown.
Oh, would you stop it?
Scientology, folks, look it up.
I'm not worried about the Muslims. The Scientologists scare the shit out of me. Creepy people.
Yeah. How about when Jesus, after he was crucified, he came back and spoke with the Native Americans in America in spirit form, and he left he left the hat, you know.
Yeah, but now he lives in Compton.
Back to Black Jesus again.
Yes, always back to Black Jesus, because that show, you know, it's not so much about the religion; it's more about the idea. It's the fact that you see this guy on this show go through some shit. People are, starting trouble with him, giving him a headache, making his life harder than it has to be. But at the end of the day, every episode, he's like, you know what? Bless you. I forgive you for being a jerk because I know you don't know any better. Which inherently makes him better than most of the people who claim to actually be on his side. And by the end of it all, people are, really into his message and the community and helping people. Not because they want something for helping people, just because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. And, that's what religion should really be about, if you're going to use religion.
Yes, if you need someone to tell you how to be a good person, that's good. You should embrace the fact that without it you would be lost or possibly psychotic. Because we all appreciate less psychotics running around.
Exactly, and just also don't judge other people if they don't believe what you do, and they're still living a decent life.
Even though half the things we've been saying are fairly incendiary, judgmental subjects, but let's not worry about
but
that.
That's because that's our job in this
That's
episode.
our opinion.
Yeah.
You don't like our opinion? Watch something else. Go watch the Hodge Twins. And I don't watch the Hodge Twins. I mean, if you're watching this to hear about religion, and you start watching those guys' show, you'll be even more lost than you are right now.
Yeah, it's probably not a good idea.
Go watch some George Carlin, Patton Oswalt, Billy Connolly, Jim Jeffries especially. Fucking hilarious. Try not to be a cunt.
Yeah. And on that, we should probably end the episode with try not to be a cunt.
Just like saying it. It's a fun word. It's in Shakespeare and Chaucer's.